Hi friends, today we're going to talk mold. Why? Because October is Mold Awareness Month, and that's much more important than anything else that you probably are talking about in October. So this topic is personal for me. It is something that I feel really strongly about, and it's something that I feel that people don't have the proper education on. I just sent an email out a few days ago to my list about mold, and what was really interesting to me was that within an hour of it being sent out, more than 50% of the 1,000 people had already opened the email. So a lot of people are dealing with mold, but they don't know that they're dealing with mold because most doctors have no knowledge on it. Even mold literate doctors miss the mark on mold, and they don't actually know how to treat it effectively for each individual person, because there is no one size fits all t-shirt with healing, and especially from healing for mold. I've been trying to heal from mold for the last 15 years. I grew up in a moldy house. I live on an island, so we constantly have issues with mold and high humidity. Every place I worked was mold. I worked in higher education. I worked in historic buildings. They were all filled with mold. They all had a strong mold smell. The crazy thing is that you could be living in mold and there could be absolutely no smell. So a lot of people think of mold with that like musty basement smell. And I remember when we looked at this house, the realtor, who was a good friend of mine, was like, oh, all basements smell like that. No, all basements don't smell like that, and they shouldn't smell like that. That is an indication that there's a problem. However, you can still have mold in your home, which is really scary, and there can be no smell. There can be no signs of mold outwardly. There were no outward signs of mold in this home. And I am a type A person where my home is extremely clean at all times. And there is still a mold issue. One, because I live on an island, and two, because this house is just not built properly. And so we have issues with water. And so the first thing to note for mold is that you need to keep an eye on humidity levels. So we are monitoring humidity levels all times in the house and outside. So I want to make sure that the humidity level is under 50% at all times in my home, because anything over 50% mold will grow. So the outdoor, it's 40% humidity right now, and inside is 49%. You notice I have a window open. It is the end of October. It is 59 degrees out. The window is open. The window will stay open throughout the winter. The window in my bathroom is open as well to get more air circulation throughout the house. Ceiling fans will also circulate the air. We have air filters running 24/7. We do have the air doctors. The filter is a little pricey, but the unit is affordable. It is the best unit on the market as far as affordability. The IQ Air and the Austin Air are superior. However, they are very expensive, but the filters last longer. We ionize our air now. We have ionizers that are plugged in here, close to the basement door. We have 2 of them in the basement. We have 1 in each bathroom and 1 in my bedroom where I sleep. Now, this topic is really hard for me, and I'm going to try not to cry because B has been diagnosed with lymphoma. So I suspect it is because of the mold. Even though I feed her really well, she doesn't drink tap water, she doesn't get over-vaccinated, she doesn't take medication. The last 3 weeks have been really hard. She's been really sick. And so we have her starting on a protocol to give her the best life that she has left. So mold is serious. Mold can cause cancer. Mold can cause a lot of issues. Allergies is the most common thing. Food sensitivities, hormone issues. It stresses the nervous system. Once you stress the nervous system, you stress all systems of the body. So like the nervous system is the main computer of your body. And once that is stressed, and once that is stuck in fight, flight, freeze, fawn, you are stuck in that survival state, and you cannot heal there. So it is a consistent practice of mine to interrupt that cycle, which has been really hard the last 3 weeks because I've been obviously very upset. And for people who don't have an animal or not attached to their animal, this may be hard for them to understand. But for people who are watching, my animal is essentially my child. And I got her when I was dying, and she allowed me to live. And so I'm going to do the most I can for her. So we have her on homeopathic remedies. I have a CDS protocol. This is CDS here. You can make it yourself. I'm topically applying that to her. I also have remedies that I take every day. So you'll see here, Newton's Labs is the remedies I've been using for 10 years. They have a dust mold dander one. They have a pro line, but the detoxifier is in their regular retail line. That was going to support the liver, because the liver is going to be trying to get these toxins out. And if you're not pooping every day, and if you're not clearing the toxins from your body, they're just getting reabsorbed. How can you clear them? Pooping every day, moving your body, sweating, doing saunas, which are, not recommended for everybody. I don't actually do well with them. I do better with ionization foot baths, so I do the AMD foot bath as often as I can. It would be ideal, would be 4 times a week. If I can do 3 times a week, I'm happy with that. I nebulize every day. So this is a nebulizer I have. You can get it for $35. I use the Biotech, which you don't have to make a solution of. You can just straight nebulize it. I also have been nebulizing ozonated glycerin and glutastat. These do need to be mixed 10-to-1. I use the Navage. I was really scared to use the Navage. It freaked me out for a very long time. I've been using it for a year, and I would never go back to a neti pot now, because this actually sucks out parasites, it sucks out biofilm, it sucks out mold from the sinus cavities. Your GI system starts in your sinuses. I was never taught that until a year ago in my practitioner program. So I will add colloidal silver, Cellcore oxygen. They're coming back out with their oxygen again. This is a very old bottle, but I still have it. You can also just do straight saline to start. You can add other things to it. I have other mold binders that I add to it as well. We are topically applying CDS to the dog with the MSO. This is what we use to clean. So you do not see bleach here, because bleach does not clean mold. Actually, bleach can make molds grow faster. You can seem like, oh, it killed the mold. It actually doesn't kill the mold. And a lot of these remediation companies that do fogging that claim they kill the mold, they don't kill the mold. You actually have to remove the mold from the home, wherever it is. So we have rebuilt half of this house. So from here back has been rebuilt, and we still have mold in this part of the home. So this is the quandary, and as I've taken past videos showing you what's going on the outside, that the person who owned this home before us was a broker. She rented it out. She was shady. She was a slumlord. And before we bought this house, she resided it. Unbeknownst to us, the plywood was not replaced. The studs were not replaced. They were already damaged. They were already water damaged and having issues. So they've just been crumbling and growing more mold in the 16 years we have lived here. So, obviously, I've gotten sick. 50% of buildings and homes in America are moldy buildings. That includes schools. That includes office buildings. 20% of the population has a propensity to get deathly sick from mold. 20%. Some people say it's higher than that, 25%. Again, statistics can be manipulated. People don't understand, so they might not be caught in the statistics and the data. But the data, for the most part that I have read and seen is about 20 to 25%. So what we do is the best that we can with what we can afford to do. We have rebuilt this home. We have tried to remove as much of the mold as possible. It is an ongoing battle. It is a definite difficult thing to do. I clean with Biotech, which you can get. I will link everything below. I'm going to be trying this new cleaner. This was recommended from a mold inspector from my educational programming that I've been in for toxin education. So we've been using this. There is a laundry one as well. We've been putting that in the laundry. You can also add a cup of borax to your laundry. Vinegar works well. People swore for years thieves. I don't really think thieves does much anymore, to be perfectly honest with you. Again, you choose what you think is best. This is what we're doing. This is the protocol that I have been doing for a long time. It is what has kept me alive in mold. You want to make sure that you have drainage figured out before you start taking binders. That was the issue. The functional doctor that I started seeing a decade ago started me on chlorothiamine, which is Dr. Shoemaker's protocol, which is a drug for cholesterol. But it actually makes you really sick if you're not taking binders and if you're not addressing drainage and other aspects. So again, there is no quick fix. There is no magic wand. There are things that need to be done for you to remove the mold, because mold is cumulative. So even if you're technically no longer in a moldy environment, the mold follows you because your body becomes the sick building. Your body is the cumulative exposure of mold. So this topic is extremely sensitive to my life. It's extremely, poignant because I live on an island and most people that I work with here have issues with mold. It is something I deal with on a daily basis. It is something I want people to talk about. I'm going to link the products that I have shown here as well as the newsletter that I sent out on Monday. So if you want more of this information, more of these newsletters about what you can do to work with your body, the things that are not talked about in Western medicine, the things that actually work to address the root causes of illness, you need to sign up for my newsletter, and you'll find the link for that below. So I'm probably going to be taking a few weeks off to spend time with B to pull back, but I wanted to get this out there for October so that you all could have some education about mold. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I hope to see you in the email list soon.